Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and today we have another review in your trophy list with you. I've got my great friend Chris from Helix Cloud Games with me. Just remember, if you are enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let's do this. So welcome back, everyone, and today we've got Chris with me from Helix Cloud Games. As I said in the intro there, how are you doing, Chris? You all right?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Delighted to be here.
Fantastic. I can't wait to look through this. I love doing these. Love the one with Nat, love doing the one with Paul, and yeah, I've been really looking forward to this because you've got a few more platinums than Paul has, so we might have a few more things to talk about, which is pretty good. The questions are back as previously, but what I wanted to do first, because you guys will have known, I suppose in the Discord, you'll know Chris as Chris from Helix Cloud Games. He's got his own stuff going on. I thought it gives him an opportunity to talk about that. If you want to go through that first,
definitely.
Let everyone know.
So delighted to be here. Thank you very much for having me on, Jeff. It's been a short time coming, but a long time coming.
Well, we were meant to do it because I mentioned it on another video saying, the next video will be me and Chris doing this, and then it never happened. So I'm glad it's here.
Life gets in the way, as to say. But yes, my name's Chris. I'm from the Helix Cloud Games channel. It's a YouTube channel, podcast services, basically centered around cloud gaming. I do it with a bunch of awesome friends, Jeff included, Rob, Richie, Tom. And about 3 years ago we decided to embrace the future of gaming with cloud technology, and we launched a YouTube channel just like Jeff's done. We've got a wonderful community centered around that, and we primarily focus on things like Google Stadia, Amazon Luna, Xbox Cloud Gaming, PlayStation Now PlayStation Plus Cloud Gaming. They haven't really given it a name yet, which I'm sure we'll probably touch on at some point. We do weekly podcasts. Stadia podcast is up to 151 weeks now.
Wow,
consistently every Monday we sit down and talk about cloud gaming in the world of Google Stadia, if you've ever heard of that. And we do weekly Cloud Quest show where we talk about just cloud gaming in general on a different topic. And we recently launched, about 10 weeks ago, a PlayStation podcast, Talking the PS, where myself, Rob, Richie, you jump on and talk about all the PlayStation news. And what a time to be a gamer. It's awesome. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz.
Stuff. Yeah.
And can't wait to talk about trophies.
Yeah. Definitely, and yeah, absolutely go and check it out. Some great stuff going on over there. We'll do the questions first. I've kept them the same, but I'll add one in at the beginning with you having a YouTube channel. I know you've touched a little bit on it there, but if we start with, I can't even get my words out. What made you make the YouTube channel? What was it that kind of started it? Where did it all begin?
So for me, it was just, I think, as most gamers, having that kind of passion for a hobby that's kind of not been shunned on, but it's not really been embraced by wider society since we grew up, really. It's always been, you play in your parents' basement and you don't get out much and you don't socialise. But actually, I'm sure all your viewers and listeners out there will know that actually gaming is probably the most social form of entertainment and fun you can have, and for me it's huge.
Totally agree. How hard is that to sell to someone who doesn't play games, or like they don't get it, do they?
We were saying pre-show, like, if you bump into someone who says I'm a gamer and then they turn around and start playing Call of Duty and FIFA, and you're like,
are you really?
Okay. So what else do you play? Like, they literally buy their console and play 2 games per year, like, consistently. Again, no disrespect to that, like, it's what you want to do, but it's someone who's played an absolute ton of games, variety, all genres, all titles, and we'll see that when we get to the trophies. But gaming is such like a niche thing. I'm so happy now in the last 10 years it's boomed into the biggest multimedia thing ever.
It's unreal, isn't
beats cinema, beats movies, TV combined in terms of revenue. And I mean, just look at the money Microsoft are throwing around to acquire studios now, and it's getting bigger, but more importantly, it's more accepted. Like, people are like, oh, you're gamers, oh, me too. And I feel like you can talk about it without being like, oh, it's that sleazy thing I do on a night on my own until 2 in the morning.
That's it. I'm allowed to be a 35-year-old man playing video games now, and it's accepted, whereas maybe not so long ago it'd been like, really?
It's still a bit hard to when explain it to the parents. Like, so what do you want for your birthday? Oh, I'll have The Last of Us, please. Like, really? £70 for this disc, and what are you going to do with that? I'm like, we'll have hours of fun with it is what I'm going to do. Yeah. But yeah, what about between work and play? It's just, it is, it's so good to see it embraced, and
I love it. There's nothing better to do. Right, so we'll go through the usual ones that I've got here. So the phone's back, the questions are back. So what got you into gaming? Do you remember? What started it all?
Parents. I think they bought. So I've got a younger brother and a younger sister, and I think back in the 90s, 92, 93, we got a Sega Mega Drive. And
classic.
We did a lot of travelling as kids when we were in family holidays and stuff, up and down to different cities to see family, and Game Boy So it was a combination of Game Boy.
Wow.
I still have the original 1989 grey with the purple buttons. I have it at home and it functions still with the Mario games and Tetris and such. And I think that combination of filling your spare time with like Sonic the Hedgehog and the Mega Drive and playing with your brother and having 2-player games, and like that social element we just talked about actually coming to life and be like, this is awesome. Like, I love this. I enjoy watching movies and reading books and stuff, but there's something different about getting hands-on with games.
Hands-on with it,
that has to, just naturally fell into it.
I think you probably just touched on it there, but what was your first console? The one that you truly owned, as opposed to what you played on for the first time?
Like bought with my own money.
I mean, it could have been bought for you, like a Christmas present or something like that, but one that was actually yours. Because mine, I could have said like Commodore 64, but it was my nana's, crazy enough. But I think my first one was like the Mega Drive. That was actually my own.
Again, probably having a younger brother and sister, everything was kind of shared. So like our games would be, oh, for your birthday you get that one, for Christmas I'll get that one, for my birthday I'll get that one. You had to wait till these like celebration moments to get the next game.
Yeah.
I probably didn't have my own until like PS4 when I actually bought my own console with my own money, and I was like, this is mine. It's mine. It's staying in my room. You're not allowed to touch it unless allowed.
Love the PS4.
You'll see my trophy list. I think that's my biggest trophy kind of stint. But
that's really what got me into it. Yeah. What got you into trophies? What started that off?
Well, we'll see in the list. Uncharted. The Uncharted, it was on PlayStation 3 when trophies had just been introduced, because of course the PS3 launched without trophies originally, and then they started implementing them into some old titles. But it was played through Uncharted, and it was that chapter based where before I'd played games like Call of Duty, FIFA, and I dabbled and I enjoyed them and grew up with them, but I wouldn't have called myself a gamer at that point, and it was something to do with the story of Uncharted, the characters, the movie-esque cinematic way it was shot, and then the trophies were kind of lined up with the story, if that makes sense. So by the time you finish the game, you could happily jump back in and play through it again, like reading a good book or watching a good movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, actually, you know what? Chipping away, and then you get that hit, Jeff, that magical hit that you love from the rest is history.
It's even better when it's just ping, ping, ping.
Yeah, at the end. And you do it on grounded mode, whatever the hardest one is, and then you get hard, easy, medium, they all kind of ping at the same time. You're like, give me that. Give me that goodness.
I was thinking of the easy games where I get like 30 in 2 seconds, ping, ping. I'm messing. Right, favourite game of all time. Why did I go that close? Losing my eyes out.
Getting old.
Favourite game of all time.
Favourite game.
It's a tough one, but there must be one.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm just gonna say franchise, and it's Uncharted easily, because it's hard to pick between them. I think I love 4 for what it gets to, but
there is a separate question for favourite series. If you're gonna go with Uncharted, then let's see if we can squeeze an answer out of you for this one.
I'd probably say Uncharted 2 then.
Uncharted 2. Interesting. So if I'm putting them in order, I'll go 4, 2, 3, 1.
I think it's hard. Yeah, Lost Legacy in there, Golden Abyss.
I never got.
You haven't played Golden
I've
Abyss.
never had a beta, which
you should get a beta. You'll see your platinum trophies shoot
through
with all
those
these duplicates.
Easy stacks I could have. Well, you've done that.
You'll see. There's a few. Yeah, there's a few coming up.
Even I haven't done that. Favourite TV series? So there is a few non-gaming ones in here as well.
TV series.
Get to know you a little bit.
I've got to say Game of Thrones. I'm sure there's like other TV series that if I think about it, I'm like, okay, these are great as well. But Game of Thrones is like a moment. Like, you didn't watch it when it was like live on TV, like people when you watched them bulk, didn't you? Like, powered through them all, which I'd love to do as well.
A guy at work was kind of just non-stop every day. I went into work. Have you watched Game of Thrones yet? Have you watched Game of Thrones yet? Just every day, to the point where he practically just sat and just held my eyes open, watch it. Yeah, and I'm really glad I did. I didn't get into it, and when was it? I think the final season was due to start, so I kind of binged through the 7 seasons. There was 8, wasn't there?
Yeah.
8.
One of them.
Yeah, 8. I think 8. I'm sure there's 8.
It sounds about right.
So I kind of binged through 7 seasons in 2 weeks, I think it was, and then kind of caught up in time for it finishing. I love it as well. It's my favourite. Regardless of what people think about the ending, I absolutely adore Game of Thrones. I think it had to end
somewhere. And House of Dragon starts next week.
Very excited, very excited. But I must say, because of the most recent season, which we won't discuss too much if people haven't watched it, but Stranger Things is right up there for me now.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the show and everything about it. I think it's so good. But yeah, what a season. Favourite movie?
Movies. Just to cheat again.
Again.
It's the Lord of the Rings trilogy, hands down, best movie trilogy of all time. Jeff, I don't know if his audience knows, but Jeff doesn't like. But
every time Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War's on the list, I try and put a little thing. I think people have got it by now.
Yeah, your Marvel and Star, which always confuses me how you love Marvel so much, you love Star Wars so much, and you're all into nerd culture, but Lord of the Rings just doesn't. Game of Thrones, but Lord of the Rings doesn't do it for you at all, even though it literally set the bar for high fantasy. You wouldn't have Game of Thrones without Lord of the Rings.
There's obviously something I'm missing because of all the things it's won and how kind of loved it is. I don't know, there was just something that I appreciate. I've said to you loads, like what Peter Jackson did was incredible, like cinematography, and some of the battles were unreal, like the Helm's Deep stuff.
They kind of set the bar for what cinema battles were. Like if you think about the two sides going into each other, you didn't have that prior to this, like on that scale.
There's just little things like that. I know we've talked about usually when we've had a few drinks and then we have a 6-hour waffle about Lord of the Rings, me whinging normally. Yeah, I think it's just like you get introduced to like Sauron in the beginning scene, which I do think is the best way to introduce a villain. Like if you look at A New Hope, Vader comes through the door. If you look at The Dark Knight, it starts with that little scene of the Joker with the robbers and stuff, and it's so well done. Look at Infinity War. I know we've been teased on Thanos, but that whole scene of him just ragging Thor and Loki around it, that's how you establish a villain. For me, is putting him in the first scene, but it was kind of like he lost his form and then you just didn't see him again, and he was just a lighthouse for the rest of it.
I'm not going to go into it because this could be a whole show in itself.
It could be, but no, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed a lot of what I've seen, and I forget where they were fighting, but in Return of the King, and like Legolas is like sliding down elephants' trunks, and
that'll be Pelennor Fields, Jeff.
Okay, that place. But no, I love the characters. Like I love Gimli and stuff. Like they're so cool. Aragorn's, cracking, but. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have to watch them again.
Well,
I know Nat won't watch them, so I'll watch them.
Well, you know what? Embracer Group just bought the rights to the Tolkien estate as of today, and we'll be talking about it on the Talking the PS podcast. Oh. And that means there will be new games, possibly from Crystal Dynamics, Adios Montreal, Tomb Raider makers, or The Hobbit, all of that. So there's going to be a ton of new stuff coming. So
what do you mean that Gollum game then?
I don't know, because again, I'm a big fan of I've read all the books. I've read The Silmarillion last year, and there's a new animated movie coming out, War of the Rohirrim, which is based on the Peter Jackson movies because it's animated, so they can do it without like getting the actors back and stuff. But this Gollum game, it's from like a studio I've not really done anything before. However, being stealth, telling me the story without the movie's influence, it's taking place between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, so seeing what that little bugger gets up to, guess we'll find out. But it was the first game announced for next gen, officially. It was like PS5 and Series X, and then it's been delayed, and it's now coming soon.
So the next, well, actually, before we got the next one, then, because you said Lord of the Rings, which of the three, real quick, is your favourite?
I can pick one. Return of the King, just because it wraps it all up, but
yeah,
they're so like equal footing in terms of just everything.
Okay. Favourite video game character of all time?
Character? Crash Bandicoot.
Really? Over Nate?
Yeah.
I definitely expect Nathan Drake.
I think I class him more as a movie character because he's got so many dimensions and layers and people around him. But when you say video games, I don't think of Uncharted because it's so movie-esque. But my go-to is like, it's Crash Bandicoot. It's always like absolute childhood. Growing up, and then we had the remastered trilogy, and then Crash Team Racing remastered recently, and just like when I think of video games, my go-to is like 95, PS1, Crash Bandicoot. Whoa!
Wow! Love it. Right, favourite developer?
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog?
Yeah. Crash, Uncharted, Jak and Daxter, The Last of Us. I can't wait to see what they do next.
If you could have any superpower?
Superpower. It's a bit of a curveball.
Just a random one.
A random one in there. Superpower. I don't know. Live forever, and you can just kind of figure the rest out.
It's pretty fair, yeah.
You can't die. It's kind of like I can become rich gradually over time. I can figure out everything. I guess obviously you've got that. You lose all your friends and your family. Sorry, but you get over it, right? You've got infinity to get over it. So. Yeah, just can't die. Just can't kill me.
Okay. Favourite drink, both non-alcoholic And alcoholic.
Favorite alcoholic drink, good old rum and coke, Captain Morgan's.
Yeah.
Gold Spice rum and coke will sort me out.
Yeah, good choice.
Non-alcoholic.
What do you go to if you just need a?
If I wasn't allowed, if I wasn't like trying to cut back on sugar and everything else, probably good old Dr Pepper.
Dr Pepper.
Yeah, good Dr Pepper.
That's what I'm rocking at the minute, actually.
Look at you. Yeah, Dr Pepper. I'd probably say.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal? Like food type or just like a meal in general? I'm a part like carrot.
What if I said, right, for the rest of your life you can only live off one meal? What would it be?
Probably pizza then.
Just a pizza.
It's like, I mean, you can have different varieties of pizza, right? I don't have to commit to one type of pizza.
True. What would you put on it though if it had to be one pizza? What's your favourite?
I'm quite boring. I just go like chicken and mushroom.
I'm pretty chilled. Yeah, it's just pepperoni.
I like mushrooms on it, but they sometimes make it too wet, so it's like chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken pizza.
Favorite Telltale game?
Ooh, Tales of the Borderlands. Maybe?
Good choice.
Yeah, I think so.
My favourite as well. I didn't know this, but I've just seen my mate Sparky. He just popped in the chat last night saying that Tales from the Borderlands 2 is coming or something.
Yeah, new Tales from the Borderlands leaked. I think it's October 21st. It was an Amazon website, the artwork and stuff. Not Telltale though. It's done by Gearbox.
Right.
So it's like, I'm curious because the Borderlands games notoriously, for me anyway, the story's like, the character's been fun, there's loads of comedy, but the story's never really been what's made Borderlands. However, the Tales of the Borderland game, phenomenal story, but because this isn't done by old school Telltale, it's Gearbox, I'm like, oh, it could go one way or the other. But yeah, the new Tales of the Borderlands comes out.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, probably announced at Opening Night Live Gamescom next Tuesday.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hardest game you've ever played?
Ooh, some definitely like throw your controller moments for some games. The one in most recent memory, I think, I'm sure when we go through the list, I'm like, that was hard. Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Kena Bridge of Spirits. Oh, because you did it properly, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't. I unfortunately, because I waited for the physical copy.
Yeah.
So I waited until it came out in like the November. So I actually held off because I wanted the physical disc. Obviously, the disc came with the patched version in, and
it wasn't. Damn you, people who use the exploit. Because I do think that game truly was meant to be played on that difficulty. Like it literally forces you to get everything out of the game in terms of all the combat and utilising everything. It's such a beautiful game. I absolutely love it. What about Crash 4 though? I know you have played that.
I've played it. My frustrations, I think, playing a level with Dingo Dial, and it was like it's a totally different way of movement and the way you I think I've got that much muscle memory from the original Crash games, playing as a different size character, trying to do through like the motions through the map. It just broke me in a way that I didn't expect. And then when I looked at the time trials and the relics, and as a 32-year-old man with a job and stuff to get on with, I don't have time for that anymore. I love a good platinum grind, but there's some things that I just look at, assess the lay of the land, and go, nope. I'm out.
Got a bit like that.
Great game though.
I'm on like 70% or something, but I just look at it and look at the things I've got left to do, and I'm like, I should probably play something else. Most anticipated game from what's been announced. So something you know that is coming out. What are you most looking forward to?
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, probably
has to be.
Same for me as well, I think. Although it's probably Final Fantasy VII Rebirth if I really thought about it, because it's not till next Christmas. I'll probably edge towards God of War, definitely. What game deserves a sequel? Anything you've played which is up to this point just standalone and we've never ever heard anything of the game again, and you think,
what would I like to see another? I'm sure there's probably better ones, but in my mind, I'd like to see a sequel to the Mad Max game that came out, because that was a fantastic game, and I think
I loved that game.
It was great, like the nature of it, the driving around your car, customizing it, the barren wasteland kind of world of Mad Max was great, and then the studio just moved on to other things, and it must have sold as well as I think they're expecting, but I think it's unique enough to fit into its genre slot where it's so different. And it's like, if it was maybe another IP that wasn't maybe Mad Max, I feel like it would have had 2 or 3 entries by now, but because of what it is, and it obviously wasn't revealed that well, I feel like it deserves one. It just hasn't.
I totally agree. I absolutely love the game. I've said it on a few videos. Like, I don't think it gets kind of the recognition or the appreciation it deserves. And it is so, like you say, for a barren wasteland, it's actually such a beautiful world. It's weird, and there's so much to do considering it's empty at the same time. I don't know.
It's very clever, and I think it's the last time Warner Brothers did something that wasn't like Batman. It feels like to me. Like they've got the fighting games in Injustice. They've got the Gotham Knights coming out. They've got the Suicide Squad coming out, and they've got a Wonder Woman game in the pipeline from Monolith. But it's like it was just kind of like a random one-off that Warner Brothers were like, let's do Mad Max. We own that IP rather than a Space Jam game, and then they just kind of left it be.
No, I don't know.
Multiverses.
Mine was when I was discussing it, I can't remember if it was Paul or Nat, or if I've just said it in a random video. Mine was The Order. I'd love to see another game of that, just because of how. I absolutely loved it, and it was gorgeous. Like for its time, like it was 20 years old. It was 2015 or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, such a good game. I'd like to see what they could do with it now, because I thought it was great.
What would you call it? 87? Or 1862? I would just give it another name.
What was the guy called? What was he called?
Galahad.
Galahad, no, the crazy adventures and expeditions of Sir Galahad.
In space and time.
1887.
Yeah, no, you know what? I went back to show my wife that game a year or so ago, and it's like it still holds up so well. Like it's for a game that is like 6-7 year old at this point. Gorgeous. Got the platinum in like a weekend as well. So if you don't have it out there,
that is literally. I think everyone says the same thing, don't they? But the only criticism, it's just a bit short. But I loved it. Right. So what games should be remade?
Ooh.
It feels like everything.
It's hard to pick now, right? It's like I got my Crash Bandicoot games. I'm just about to get The Last of Us again, even though it's not even 10-year-old. Game that I'd love to be remade. Okay, so back to my Lord of the Rings ones. Battle for Middle-earth 1 and 2. Back in the day, it's like an RTS game, so you play as all the armies and you have the heroes, like Command and Conquer or Age of Empires. But in that world, so I'd say Battle for Middle-earth. It was made by EA though, and now they don't have the license. And I said earlier on, it's been bought by Embracer, so it's like it's kind of up in the air. It'll never be it never happened, but all of the Two Towers and Return of the King. Yeah.
Why? Stop all this Lord of the Rings nonsense.
Your audience out there will agree with me to some degree. I'm
sure they will. I can't even remember what mine was now for being. What would that? Because my favourite game of all time, which is Final Fantasy VII, already has. I think I would probably lean towards.
Well, a third of it has.
A third, yeah. Well, a smidge, just a smidge. I know it's in 3 parts now, but what's been remade is actually just a smidge of the game. Maybe the first Metal Gear Solid. Something like that. That was a phenomenal game, absolutely.
It's so overdue as well.
Who would be your starter Pokemon from the originals?
I think Charmander, just because I always wanted the Charizard in the end.
Yeah, everyone picks
Charmander. You went through that grind of getting your ass handed to you by the water gym just so you could get the Charizard in the end.
Yeah, that's it. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Not in a million years. No.
My guy, I knew I loved you for a reason, Chris. Right, so
that balances out the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so he's all right now. He doesn't have to go anytime soon. So now we've got the this or that. So obviously we'll fly through these because I'm conscious we have been speaking for over 20 minutes, but it's been great for you guys to get to know Chris as well. But yeah, these ones are a bit faster, so try not to think about it too much. Mario or Sonic?
Sonic.
Nathan Drake or Lara Croft?
Nathan Drake.
Uncharted or Tomb Raider?
Uncharted.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Easy game or hard game?
Easy game.
Well, like My Name Is Mio or Bloodborne?
Maybe in the middle a little bit more.
Right, okay. Open world or linear story?
Linear story.
Would you rather be able to wield Mjolnir or have adamantium claws?
Wield Mjolnir.
Single player or multiplayer game?
Single player.
Spider-Man games or Batman games?
Spider-Man games.
Far Cry or Assassin's Creed?
Assassin's Creed.
The Last of Us or Uncharted?
Uncharted.
Tekken or Mortal Kombat?
Neither.
Neither. If you had to pick one.
Mortal Kombat.
Everyone seems to struggle there. Crash Bandicoot or Spyro?
Crash Bandicoot.
Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption?
Grand Theft Auto.
San Andreas or Vice City?
Vice City.
Dragon Age or Mass Effect?
Mass Effect.
Call of Duty or Battlefield?
Call of Duty.
Alien or Predator?
Alien.
And finally, Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo? Everyone's picked Ronaldo so far. I said it when I spoke
just more
to
with
Paul.
his head, doesn't he?
Like, if you if you speak to like everyone out there, Messi seems to be the consensus, but so far everyone seems to have said Ronnie. Well, yeah, so that's all the questions. That's kind of getting to know Chris a little bit. Now what we'll do is we'll scrutinise, and what we won't really. We'll have a little look through his PSN
I like
profile.
my list.
It's a good list. It's a good list. We'll have a little look, see what's in there, and yeah, let you guys have a look. We'll see you in a sec. So welcome back to PSN Profile. So we've got Chris's profile in front of us now. Here he is, Porret 1989, and what's this? Hashtag Save the Gecko. Where'd that come?
That is my long-running campaign on our podcasts over on Helix Cloud Games to save Gex. So there's Gecko, Deep Cover Gecko, all the Gex games. We've had Spyro back, we've had Crash back, we've had Mario games remade. We need the Save the Gecko, hashtag Save the Gecko.
That makes sense. So I'll run through the stats, and then I might ask you about a few of them, but then we'll crack on with the games. So 457 on the trophy level, doesn't matter. 8,157 total trophies, 123 platinums, which is a pretty solid number. I like it. 638 gold, 1,527 silver, 5,869 bronze. I always like to read these out because a lot of you guys now are telling me you're kind of listening while you're gaming and stuff. So I do like to try and read everything for you as we go. So 314 games played, completed 88 of them to 100%, which is pretty good, giving you a 53.88% completion rate. Good to see. I don't know, like if you've looked at the other videos in what I like to see in terms of a completion, which is usually 80% if you can. Not a big deal if not, because you're still finishing every other game to 100%. But yeah, I think if you're finishing 4 out of 5 of your games, getting 80% is pretty good. But no, that's very solid. What's this unearned trophies all about though? It's making me cry.
Yeah, so I said pre-recording before we went into the show. So my account goes back way back to the PS3 days before trophies were a thing. And I mentioned again, I have a younger brother, and he was too young to have a PSN account, and I think he was actually a sub account. If anyone remembers that, you could have sub accounts within a main PSN account, and then when he wanted to buy his own things, you weren't allowed because of age restrictions and stuff. So he eventually broke out and got his own, thankfully. But what I used to do is I used to come home from college or work or something, and he'd be playing like random ass games that I've never heard of or anything like that, and naturally trophies come into that, and you'll notice as we go back through the years to probably 2012, 2013, there's a lot of games which are like 3%, 5%, and that's by nature of having a younger brother. And anyone out there who's got any siblings, I'm sure you've had your memory card saves deleted in the past.
Yeah.
You've lost entire games. You've had CD boxes stood on, discs snapped in half. Family, everyone. But yeah, a lot of my unearned ones, I'm going to say, come from years ago, but hopefully a lot not as bad in recent years.
Not as bad, yeah, absolutely. So 1.85 trophies per day. The profiles had 82 reviews. Hopefully we can pick that up a bit, because what I'll do is, as I've done with the other profiles, in the description we'll put a link to the YouTube channel and stuff, but I'll put a link to your PSN profiles page. So if any of you guys want to come in, have a look at Chris's profile in your own time, then absolutely. World rank 35,708. and the country rank 4,495th. I take it it's not something you're that fussed on.
No, not at all. No. But that doesn't sound bad. I'm in the top 5,000 of the entire country, which is like millions of people.
Yeah.
So
and like
I'll take that.
It's UK as well, so it's not just England. So it's I'd say it's pretty good. It's hard to maintain now.
What are you?
When I looked at it, like 457th, I think. But obviously, everyone knows I play a lot of easy games to try and maintain that. But even like this month, no joke, I've done about 12 grubby games, right? Yeah, I know. Shame.
I mean, looking at the top of my list, I went through a little phase myself like that. So
I did about 12. Got the platinum for Modern Warfare. Got the platinum for Lego Star Wars. I did a few other little bits. Got a number of trophies from other games, and I'm still going backwards.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows the number of these grubby shovelware stuff that you're having to play to try and maintain. I've been at the 450 mark, just kind of floating for ages, but it kind of bothers me a little bit. And I've said it loads now. I wish it didn't, but. So I take it I know we're going to get there, but looking at the cover photo, I take it you've just done Stray. Obviously, it's got the recent trophies there, so we'll come to that. So look at this to start us off. Literally the staple.
It's just everyone's, I think.
Because we put these in alphabetical order. So the reason I do that is if there's a series, they're all kind of bunched together and we can talk about them. I normally have my profile in percentage order. But doing it that way, you kind of flitting between franchises and stuff. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, we do it this way, and of course, most trophy hunters have this. It's quite often one of the first games or 112th seed.
Good game.
Do you know what?
For what it is.
Of the easy games, this is actually pretty good, and it does require a little bit of skill, doesn't it? Especially the 36 fragments in midnight. Was it 6 minutes?
Yeah, you got to power through.
You know, it is an easy game, but it's a 3 out of 10. You know, it's not a 1 out of 10. Just press X a few times. It's but yeah, it's a pretty good one. Plague Tale, we see quite a lot as well. I think because it was free.
Yeah,
and it's on a lot of people's list. What were your thoughts on it?
I absolutely loved it. It was one that I kind of knew about, but never thought about purchasing or anything. And then it was between games. I think I just finished off a massive open world game that took me a long time, and I think I wanted almost like a palate cleanser between. I knew it was only a smaller game, and with Requiem coming out later this year, I had that. Oh, well, I'll jump in now, kind of bring myself up to speed with the game and what it is, and if I enjoy it, the brand new one's out, and I'll probably pick that up day one. So nice and short as well. I think you could get the platinum in like 15 hours or something like that. A couple of playthroughs of the campaign. Collectibles really easy. Chapter selects you could go back, but great story. Sister and her brother and stuff going through France, and I can't wait to see the sequel.
Just all the time.
Oh, be quiet.
No, I really enjoyed it. I literally have 2 criticisms of it. The scene, I try not to say too much in case some people haven't played it. I know it's an older game now, but I'm one of those people that don't like to ruin stuff if I can help it. But the scene where you push it in, the guy's pushing the cart down, it's one of the later chapters. He's pushing the cart down the street, wherever. There's archers on the top, and you're using the sling, having to stop the troops coming at you.
Oh yes, yeah.
And although the sling was alright, I don't think it was the best in some areas. It was quite inconsistent. When you were locked onto them, it just kind of decided to do its own thing, because there was quite a few troops in quick succession.
It didn't reload quick enough.
Yeah, it was kind of losing it. And then the other thing was, and you did it in one playthrough, didn't you? I don't think I was thorough enough for the resources. You know, you've got to upgrade the sling and then the pouch or something.
Yeah.
So I had to go back. But it doesn't save you progress, so if you go back to, I don't know,
you lose those points.
You kind of start from the point you were at that moment, and I was just like, ugh.
So if you missed it, you've missed it. Even if you keep going back, you're still not far back.
So you've just got to kind of play again and just upgrade the opposite thing to what you've done.
Well, the new one looks like it's going to get loads of, I think she has a crossbow in the new one from what I've seen, so it looks like they're embracing the combat a bit more than just being stealth focused.
Hopefully it's a lot more refined and...
more rats.
More rats.
That's what it needs.
What's Accounting Plus?
Accounting Plus is a VR game from the Rick and Morty creators, Justin Rowland and stuff, and it's so funny. It's not too long of a game, but it's accounting. You work at a virtual accounting service, and it sounds crazy, but it's kind of Rick and Morty style. It embraces how stupid it is.
Right.
And then you kind of go through a different dimension into another world, and you end up inside somebody's body. There's a cloud man pops out of a tree at one point. Is like typical Rick and Morty style, where he just starts throwing abuse at you, like effing and blinding it.
Really?
And you're there trying to figure out this puzzle why he's just going, hey, get the F out of my area. What are you doing? Hey, put that down, that's mine. And you're in VR in this world, and honestly, if upcoming game from them, it's just about to come out, it's High on Life, where your gun talks to you and everything, with that Rick and Morty type comedy. It's
interesting,
really fun platinum, and in VR, one of my few VR platinum games, because I can't spend too long inside that.
You're going to have to bring the VR on so I can get those 3 trophies on Concrete Genie. I swear down, it's really upsetting me. I've said it loads of times, but every time I look through my list, I'm like,
just there.
Stinky VR trophies. I won't mention Ape Escape too much. Everyone's played it at the moment. What's Apotheon?
It was a free, again, going back, it's like you're talking 20...
Your last trophy there, 3rd of March 2015.
Yeah, it was one of them free PS Plus games, like right when I think PSN was like free back then, you just got it. You play as like a little gladiator guy on like a 2D, but you're like actually on the pots, you know, like the China pots they had back in like ancient Greece. and you're like a silhouette of a gladiator, and it's like a Metroidvania 2D style game, but fun. But it was back in the day before I was even thinking about trophies, and it was just experienced the free game I got for the month, didn't play it for that long, and then jumped back to Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or whatever I was playing.
So if you couldn't tell, or it wasn't obvious, I think he likes Assassin's Creed, it's fair to say.
Just a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. I played the very first one and then lost track of the games, and then I came to yours when you were playing the Ezio trilogy, and I was like, why did I stop playing these games? And kind of got me back into it. But we won't talk too much about them all individually, because it could be a full
it could be
show just on Assassin's Creed. But do you want to talk to me about which is your favourites, which you didn't like, what the platinums?
Well, I'm a massive history fan to start with, like just in terms of like what I studied at school and college, and then into just movies and TV. I've always got that, anything to do with like mythology, like Greek, Roman, all for it. So Assassin's Creed kind of just embodied that. I get to explore those worlds through this amazing magic of an animus, and kill people and hunt people down, do missions, and the premise is so good for Assassin's Creed. And Ubisoft obviously know that, because they just pick it up and move location every game, and it sells like Valhalla is like the highest gross. It grossed over $1 billion. It's the best-selling game. Got the biggest story expansion, the continued support. It's just a single-player game, and yet it's been going on for like 2 and a bit years.
I really like them, and it does annoy me that people hate on them and just say, "Oh, it's the same thing." But no, if you actually break it down, they've constantly reinvented themselves. Like from if you look where it was to kind of where it is now, it's like a fully fledged RPG almost. I do think, and it's not always just climb a tower and lock the map now. I do think they've made the right changes. Like you say with the history stuff, I love the same kind of things, and it is very, very interesting. You do learn a lot. But yeah, I just wonder where they're going next.
Oh well, the rumour for the longest time has been like feudal Japan. But I think Ghost of Tsushima might pip them to that, so they'll have to pivot and do something different. I would love to see like China. It's a big fan of the Dynasty Warriors games. The kind of the whole 3 families, the Battle of the 3 Kingdoms kind of thing played out in Assassin's Creed. They've got so much material to pull from, and it's a part of the world I think a lot of people in the West don't really know that much about. So there's stories to be told, and I love the way the game's evolved. I'm someone who actually missed out on the kind of Witcher 3 kind of craze that happened. So when Assassin's Creed pivoted from the story kind of more linear type to Assassin's Creed Origins with the more open world, that was kind of my Witcher moment, where I was like, oh, an RPG can be huge and explorative and still tell a great story with Bayek and his wife and stuff. And again, tied in with Egyptian mythology is one of the best ones out there. You could possibly link to like gods, and that's when they also started to lean into the more crazy kind of magical world, Cecilia, because it's been quite grounded, albeit the Animus isn't that grounded of a concept, but the Origins DLC, walking through the field of reeds with like Anubis warriors and giant scorpions,
it's brilliant,
beautiful, and they've kind of doubled down on that with Valhalla in that sense.
It's great. No, and as I say about the recognition, the appreciation, how is Dark Souls any different from Bloodborne? How is it any different from Demon Souls? And their games are the same, but it doesn't happen to them. They don't keep getting labelled as just releasing the same stuff. And you could use that argument with a lot of games, really. And I do think I think they're great. To be fair, what's your favourite one?
Obviously, everyone's got a soft spot for Assassin's Creed 2 and Ezio. It's like Request, Sapping Batche, all that stuff. But Origins actually for me is one of my favourite ones.
Really?
I think because it revolutionised and mixed it up, and it looks so damn good. And Bayek was great. Now, what always does bug me with the Assassin's Creed games, and I haven't done it since Ezio, stick with the same protagonists. Like, tell me more of Bayek's story. Tell me more. I know they're doing a little bit with Cassandra now, but we had Ezio for like 4 games and all the spin-offs and everything, and then we got nothing from Unity. We got nothing from Black Flag. We got nothing from Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla. Like, is that the end of Eivor's story? That's just it. You spent 140 hours with these people,
such a long time,
and Ubisoft go, yeah, let's move on now. Whereas every other game developer is like, let's make a sequel, let's make a third one. And no, just so you go back. They've always got that break glass in case of emergency, go back to the Ezio collection though. We will get an open world Ezio game at some point. When Ubisoft are that down in the dumps, they go, it's time. Smash, get the keys out, turn them. There's our Ezio remake or remaster or whatever it is.
Bring all the fans back. Yeah, I agree. So a couple of Astro stuff. The VR one, obviously, I've played Playroom. I talk about it loads, so I won't touch on it too much. Other than you should really go and get 100%. Is that just them speedrun challenges?
It probably, yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's only one trophy. Dead easy. What's Astro? What rescue mission like?
So
on VR?
so that was similar to Playroom, was kind of the test bed for showing how good the DualSense can be, like a showcase for the PS5's features.
All right.
Rescue Mission did that for the VR headset, so it came as a pack-in with the VR headset. I think most people have a VR probably have Rescue Mission, and it's the same thing. It's the same premise as Playroom, but you're kind of a giant, one of the giant creatures that live in the world, like the Cloud Man and everything like that.
Yeah.
You are one of them with the VR headset, and you play through the mission almost like you can see him running below you, jumping on all the platforms, jumping over things, but you have to use the VR to like move stuff out of the way. So you can blow clouds out of the way so you can get past, you can push your hand into like blocks so you can climb on them. So it's basically the exact same game, but you are in that world overlooking him as like a god rather than just playing as like a third person over the shoulder version of him. Super fun, and I was totally committed to the platinum on that one because it is just like collectibles, get all the coins, finish every mission, and Astro, such a cool character. Like, he's like my newest beloved mascot for PlayStation. Great.
Absolutely love playing through Playroom. So good. A few Batman games, all unfinished, other than the Telltale stuff.
Yeah.
They're not easy though.
No.
They're not, I mean, you're looking at the difficulties, like there's some 6 out of 10, Arkham City's a 7, Arkham Origins, I mean, look at the rarity as well. Like if we're looking at Arkham Origins, like 1.88%, I know it's pretty tricky. But yeah, is it something you'll ever go back to?
Yes and no. So again, looking at the date and then like Arkham Origins 2013, that's like pre-trophy Chris completely. This is just I like Batman. Chris. I want to jump in and play games. And Arkham Asylum, I went back with the remaster collection they did. So you can see in like 2020, started playing through Arkham Asylum, got all the Riddler trophies, went through and started collecting all like the little hidden bits and objects, finished the story, complete difficulties. And then I came to the challenge mode where you have to fight and get the high score.
Oh, the horrible! That's what's preventing me from getting the.
And I did that in Arkham Asylum, and I tried to grind it out. I got one of my friends in to try and help me out. It was great, Gary. It was great. He's phenomenal with the Batman games. He's like, you gotta help me out with this. And we just like chipped away a little bit, and they set such a high mark for those scores. I don't have the dexterity in my fingers anymore, or the patience to do it, and I think then I never went and moved on to Arkham City remaster, and it's the games I absolutely adore and love. I think they're phenomenal. They did a lot for superhero games in general.
Great, yeah, absolutely.
But my word, they need an easy trophy list. But fantastic Origins. Origin, don't sleep on Origins if you've not played it. It's one of the best. It's fantastic.
It's the only one I haven't played, to be fair. Yeah,
It's only available on PS3. I don't think it's had a PS4, so it's kind of like stranded a little bit. Because it was WB Montreal, who were just about to put out Gotham Knights, so it's kind of, funnily enough, that's all they've been working on since Origins. They've not put out a game since Arkham Origins.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
So a lot resting on Gotham Knights right now for these guys.
So we've got Battlefield 1 Platinum, 2017. I didn't even know you'd done that one. I didn't really know that was your sort of thing, to be fair.
So I'm a huge fan of shooters. I just think like most people, with the kind of craze that was Call of Duty, I just became oversaturated on it. And I was like, every year I was like, here's another one. And they are great, they're super fun. And I, like most people, had the best time in the world with Modern Warfare 2 back in the day. Multiplayer, when you had all that spare time to just kill people and zombies and stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think just shooters in general, I've just became more. I think one of my answers for your questions earlier on was more linear story games. I think just as I've grown up, I appreciate a story chapter-based game with character development much more than just shooters. And Call of Duty's campaigns are fantastic, not denying that. Like the original Modern Warfares and some of the Black Ops ones are terrific. But just me as a gamer, I think I've found my genre I prefer.
Yeah.
And my brother actually lent me Battlefield 1 because he's more of a shooter person. And jumped in, little vignette stories, really enjoyed them. Had a look at the trophy, jumped online, thought I haven't played a shooter in a while. And as you do, chipping away, then you suddenly realise like this is obtainable. I can get so many sniper kills online and stuff, and had a great time with it. And Battlefield's disappointed me ever since with the newest entries, 2042, dying of small.
I haven't played that one yet. I've played Battlefield 5 recently with a mate. We're kind of going for the platinum in that one, just grinding out the scores. It's not too bad. Beat Saber's an 8 out of 10. I might skip over a couple of them.
Yeah, feel free.
Just because it's a big list, isn't it? I didn't realise Beat Saber was an 8 out of 10 difficulty. Wow.
To be fair, you know what? If you need to get the trophies for some of the high score
I've
rankings,
seen some videos online of people going absolutely mental.
Yeah.
So I knew there was going to be some difficulty in there. But yeah,
it's kind of like Guitar Hero. I'd imagine some of their trophies are like crazy hard, just because you need to do an Earth, Wind and Fire on.
Dragon Force through the fire and the flames back in the day on Expert or whatever. Oh, unreal.
The thing is burning away.
So a lot of non-platinums we'll slowly go over. Just stop me if there's any that you see that you feel there's a bit of a stop.
Shout to BioShock.
Yeah, great
phenomenal games.
Well, I say great
very
games.
hard to platinum though.
Only played the first one. I've got the second one and Infinite sat there. I don't know what happened. I bought the excuse me. All 3 games were like £12. So I bought them with the plan to just work through them. I'd done the first one and then I can't remember why, but I stopped playing them and moved on to something else. So I do need to do 2 and Infinite, but I've heard great things.
Yeah.
So.
Would you kindly go back and finish them for me?
Yeah, if you do one thing for me.
What?
Concrete Genie, after all of my whinging, you have a VR and haven't done those 3 trophies?
I've got the platinum now. I don't need to go
Chris.
back. Like, the percentage thing annoyed me for a time, but I've learned to accept it, Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't have the time or patience in my life as an adult. If I was like 18, 19 and I'm just living in my mum and dad's house in my bedroom and I can stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, definitely, but that's not me anymore.
What's your thoughts on Control?
Oh, phenomenal.
You've done it in 4 days as well, so 4 days, 19 hours. So you must have enjoyed that.
Well, you'll notice it came out in and around my birthday. So I had some probably time off for the week, and then it came out, and I was like, I'm just going to bomb through this. And
have you not thought about doing the DLC?
I bought the DLC.
It's pretty good.
And that's also made me intrigued by the Alan Wake games, because I've never played the Alan Wake, and it just had a remaster. So I'm like, they're kind of in my peripheral, and I love Remedy. The one they did on the Xbox that never came across the PlayStation. They've always got that kind of Uncharted inspiration, but they go a bit more zany with kind of sci-fi elements to it, or horror. And Control, what a game! I
really liked it. It's a few Crash games, only Crash Warped done the 3rd one, which is the easier. I mean, you can see from the difficulty, guys. I mean, Crash 3's regarded as a 4 out of 10 in comparison to some of the others, like 7 out of 10 for the first, 6 out of 10 for the second, Crash 4, 9 out of 10, absolutely insane. How come you've got it twice?
There's a PS5 version.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering.
For 4, I think it came out, it got a remaster like not long after, I think I put it in, and I think a few trophies auto popped, and then that was like, oh, I'm going to try and do this now. So I did a little bit more. You can see like the percentages creeped up a little bit, and then I realised that I'm never going to do this, and I should just stop playing now.
It's
you can see I tried with Crash Team Racing, because I think it's the best kart racer of all time. Sorry, Mario Kart fans, but there's just something more about the drifting and the nitro boost that kind of gives it a different dynamic for me. As much as Mario Kart is phenomenal, and I tried. Anything usually when I get past like 60-70% is where you can tell I'm going for the platinum, and then life just gets to where I go, you know what, I need to move on. But Crash Bandicoot, man.
Oh, so unbelievable. I just wish Crash 4 wasn't so hard, so I could go in and do that one. Because I was similar to you, I'd only had Crash 3 done, and I've installed it again recently. I went in and done Crash 1, and I've done the Stormy Ascent DLC as well, which was very, very tricky. So I'm going to do the second one, and then I might try 4. I've just bought Super Meat Boy as well. I want to really test myself at the minute, because I'm not being known for the
punishment.
Not being known for the guy as the guy who plays easy games only. I'll get a real difficult one on there.
Shout out to my brother for Dead Island, thank you.
Oh, for the one trophy in 2012, day after my birthday. Oh wow, one trophy. Damn.
So that's probably like finished the first mission, and then he's just never went back to it. I've never played it.
What about Days Gone? Are you disappointed we might never get a sequel?
Yeah, that when we said about 1886, and I had a little bit of time to think on it during it, it was like, oh yeah, Days Gone. Fantastic game. I think a lot of the audience are probably with us on that, where it seemed to be the reviewers who said it wasn't that good, but everyone who played it, like the players out there, fantastic game, loved it.
I absolutely loved it as well. I thought it was great. Oh, shout out to Deadpool, so much fun.
I tried on that one, and then I can't remember which one made me stop. There was a difficulty trophy.
There is a few difficulty ones, It is one I managed, but there's a few tricky trophies. in the list. It's not straightforward. What happened with Death Stranding?
That's your fault, Death Stranding. So I blame my brother for a few of them. It's when you came round and you were trying to showcase the opening of Death Stranding, and I was like, yeah, I bought it. It was on offer in supermarket for like £14. I picked the disc up, and when you came round, I think I showed you the PS5 for the first time before you got yours.
That's right.
It's like, there's the controller, you ran, you showed Nat, and it was like, look at this, it's the DualSense. And then our wives chilled out in the other room, and you're like, oh, put this in, I'll show you what the opening's like, it's so good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Put it in, and then it popped like a trophy, and I've just not got around to it yet. So yes, my rank E 2% of Death Stranding is your fault.
So I'm contributing towards those unearned
He's trying to
trophies.
sabotage my trophy list. Not that I'm anywhere near catching it.
It's a brilliant game, though. You need to...
I will. It's on my radar.
Oh, you finished Detroit? Nice. Yeah. I'm still missing about 3 trophies. I think there's some collectible stuff and some other ending.
Great game, and similar with Heavy Rain and then
Beyond as well.
It's like, why don't they make sequels to these games? They just do one and out. And now I think they're owned by... They got bought by another company. I think they're making PC titles now.
Someone else, yeah.
A shame. Same with Ready at Dawn, who did Order 86. They got snapped up by like Tencent or some Chinese company. It's like, oh, well, never probably sell, unless Sony own the IP to 1886 and they want to do something with it.
So many unfinished games here, Chris.
Alright, let's see where we are. Where we are with these ones, right? Where we are. So, Drive Club.
Yeah, it's unobtainable now. But look at that. So we talked about your unearned trophies. There's 127 unearned trophies just from one game. So it's easy to see how it how it adds up.
Dynasty Warriors, my brother. Extreme Legends. 1%.
You've done Energy Cycle though.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Who hasn't done Energy Cycle? So you'll notice there's a phase in my trophy list where I think these easy platinums became a thing.
So if we're blaming people, if I'm to blame for Death Stranding, Chris is to blame for me starting easy games. I always said I wouldn't do it. And I went round and you'd done Mayo, and I think I did Mayo at your house.
It was at a party. It was. That's how our parties roll.
That's how exciting house parties are at Chris's. Yeah, we just played My Name is Mayo on everyone's account. But yeah, I did that, and then you told me of Nubler. So I came home and I played Nubler,
bad one. Yeah.
And it kind of just started from there. I didn't mind doing them ones, and then I just got a little bit grubbier and grubbier until now I'm just holding R1. So
I backed away from them, and then when we started the Talking the PS podcast and you mentioned about them, I went back in and got My Name is Mayo too, and I was like, we're a bad influence on each other. Where I haven't played one in ages. There is a moment where a few I stacked for going on holiday, so because of the PlayStation Vita. You can imagine all these simple games translate quite well to a handheld because you're not shooting and running around or anything. You're just literally tapping one button or moving left to right in a 2D platform. So there's like Super Willow, D-Make, and there's games like that where I stacked for the Vita and then went back and got when I got home. But thankfully I'm off my fix until I do My Name is Mayo 3 when I had to £1 or something.
So I've skipped past a couple because we mentioned Energy Cycle.
Yeah.
But we've got a few more platinums to talk about. Far Cry.
Yeah.
Which I know you enjoy as well, don't you? Which is your favourite of these ones then?
I've got a really good soft spot for Blood Dragon, and when I found out I didn't have a platinum, back in 2013 I got my Uncharted platinum.
Oh, I didn't even realise it was the PS3. I've played it, because you get it free with the Far Cry 6 stuff, don't you?
So no, this is OG Blood Dragon. So this is again when I started getting into trophies. I got my Uncharted platinum initially, and I was like, oh, I like the taste of these platinums. Then started playing Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Got to the end of it, got the last trophy, and then went and checked the list because the PS3's interface wasn't as favourable as the PS4, PS5.
Yes, that's right.
So went to the end and was like, it's not a platinum. There is no platinum. It was like, why have I just spent? And then obviously it's a great game. 80s nostalgia and neon, like all the stuff that's like popular now. Blood Dragon did it years ago, so I think
it's probably the most fun I've had with a Far Cry game, 100%. But 3 is probably
for the main games. I'd say 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yeah, they're all great games. A lot of FIFA stuff. No platinums.
Yeah, no. I'm a big football fan, as you know. I'm a big FIFA fan, but I am a career mode purist, where I just like to start with my local team right at the bottom and work my way up through the leagues, Champions League, and then I don't do any FUT, don't do any online stuff.
Yeah.
Not good or competitive enough to play online, but no, it's more of just a party game. There's actually a few games on my list which you'll see where I've bought them and played them when we've had friends rounds. So like Death Squared earlier on, the Jackbox games, like I'm never going to get the platinums in them, but they're more for just if mates are coming around family, trying to like, we said earlier on about getting family to understand gaming a bit more.
Yeah.
Party games are that kind of entry point where if you've got your mum and dad around, your brother and sister, they're partners who maybe aren't into gaming, get them playing like Jackbox Party or Knowledge is Power.
I love
If
that.
that's you, yeah.
That's
like
you was good fun.
that was a great PlayStation initiative, which they've never really followed up on. They did like a couple of these PlayLink games, and you download the app, and then they're just like, didn't make money, move on.
Yeah.
But so there's a couple in the list which they're just there because they're there.
Firewatch, great game.
No
Absolutely loved it. Shame there's no platinum, but yeah, if you haven't played it, guys, and you're looking for something a bit chilled, yeah, Firewatch is very, very good. Flower missing a trophy. We talked about it, didn't we, when you were.
Again, talk about games trying to explain to your family. I'm a flower. I'm floating through the world. So this is what you do in your spare time, Chris. Yes, I do. It's hard. But yeah, I'm wondering. It must have been like either play through the whole thing again. I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah,
but I'm going to check on that one actually because.
Tell you.
And why is there one trophy?
What are we missing, Chris?
Flower.
What have you left in Flower? Journey to the City.
It's finished the whole game without being hit.
Oh, is that what it is?
And I don't have the patience for that.
So the city, that's the end, is
I think
it? So
it's
you kind
the
of
whole,
going through
the city's the final chapter, so I think it's get through the whole game without being
Really?
hit or something. And
Oh, wow.
I think I must have done a run of it and probably got like, as many people have done, like 80% through the game, and then you get hit, and I don't think there's any like save points or chapter options, so I think it was like, sorry,
Yeah.
Flower,
No, it's all good.
I'm out.
Full Blast, a couple of times. Game of Thrones, nice. Ghost of Tsushima twice. Oh, so
Yeah.
you've done it. Is this a cheeky auto pop, is it, Chris? What?
It was, but I did play through again because I did the Iki Island DLC
Right.
as well, which is why the PS5 version is higher than the PS4 version. So I had a viable reason to go back to it, and I did what I went back to it for. I can't help it if I load the game up and it starts going ping, 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 ping. Although the Spider-Man we'll get to was a grubby one.
Ghostbusters, was that the one do you remember we tried to play it around yours on my profile or something? It was all stuttery or it was glitching.
Possibly.
Because you tried to show me it, and it's
spiritual successor to the movie, so it's got the full cast. Before Afterlife came out, I'll point out, and before the one with the ladies in. Full cast, written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis before he passed away, and it literally tells the story of what Ghostbusters 3, what they wanted the movie to be.
Wow.
And it's fantastic, and as a huge Ghostbusters fan I was like, yeah. And when they did the remaster, that was platinum time, because you'll notice the PS3 version is somewhere in here as well.
Yeah, God of War done, which I always like to see.
Yep.
Look at that, Gran Turismo 5. I know you've not done any of these, but 10 out of 10 difficulty, 750 hours approximately with a platinum.
No one has time.
I mean, I love Gran Turismo, and I've recently done 7, but yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
No, Gran Turismo is like my brother's thing as well. He's more of a racer, shooter kind of guy. So yeah, GT6 I think is him as well.
A couple of Grand Theft Autos, Gravity Rush I really enjoyed.
See, a lot of them are like if you look at that Grand Theft Auto 4, 2010.
Wow, 2000.
That's like 20-year-old Chris sat there going.
One trophy. A few easies, Hebroxia 2, but they're not as grubby as some, are they?
Well, Hebroxia is, I listened to a PlayStation podcast, Sacred Symbols, and it's the guy who hosts that show, he owns the company that did Hebroxia. So I bought that actually to support like a fellow podcaster, PlayStation guy. It just happened to be a fairly fun platinum as well.
That's pretty good.
Super Perils of Baking is the second game we just put out as well, which is like a SNES interesting one.
Horizon, Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, love to see it, some of my favourite games. Yeah, absolutely love Aloy.
She is the best about them.
So good. I've talked about them loads, but
yeah, I mean both games, they're the type of games that when you finish it and you kind of get the platinum trophy and you put the controller down, you go like, I don't want to leave this world, but at the same time I want to play something different. But you know what I mean? I always feel like there's more to go back to. So when they did the Frozen Wilds DLC for Zero Dawn, I was like, yes, get back at this. And I'm sure we'll see some Forbidden West DLC imminent, like probably
quite soon.
Next year.
Because if you look at a lot of people have spoken when the games were released at early part of the year, and then Frozen Wilds came out later in the. So I'm wondering if it's going to be quite soon. I really want to go back to it and do the new Game Plus stuff, but then I'm thinking, knowing my luck, I'll go in, I'll do it, uninstall it again, then DLC will be out next week, and I'm just thinking, should I hang fire, do it all together? But I love the game that much, and I love Aloy that much, I want to go back and play again.
That's how I did Zero Dawn. I went back and did New Game Plus leading up to the Frozen Wilds, so I was accustomed to the controls and stuff again, because it's a hard game to jump back into after being detached for so long, because there's that many like weapon types and skill sets, and there's so many different creatures to fight. If you are, it's like most games, once your muscle memory kind of fades a little bit and you jump back in, you go, I don't know where I'm at, what I'm doing, where the story's at, and that's why I'm sure loads of people, you start games sometimes and go back and go, yeah, I need to do this right from the beginning. New game, take it all in.
So yeah, apologies if we're not talking about every game. You know, as I said, there's a few hundred, so you know we'd be here all day. We do love a good natter. So Hotline Miami Unfinished, Human Fall Flat, which just like the Imagine DLC, I seem to be reinstalling it every 2 weeks for another 3 trophies. I Am Brave with its 9 out of 10 difficulty, crazy. Only 2 trophies on that. What's your thoughts on Immortals then? 'Cause I've still got that to play, but I haven't put it in yet.
You've not played it yet?
No, Nat's played it. Done the 100% because we bought the season pass. She really liked it.
Yeah, I
still haven't played it
absolutely adored it. Again, back to the mythology thing I mentioned with Assassin's Creed, but it was kind of taken. It's the Assassin's Creed Odyssey team that made them all, so you can kind of see that influence immediately when you open it up. But they've been given free reign, brand new IP, brand new characters, do what you want with it, with a sprinkle of kind of comedy. And the writing in it, I found myself genuinely like chuckling along with some of the bits of narrative between the gods talking, like they narrate her adventure. Phoenix, great character. Can't wait to see whatever the rumoured sequel is that they do with it, although apparently they're pivoting towards a totally different character and location, which again, I'm like, Ubisoft, stick with the characters, you know, like they don't even feature all the gods in the game, so it's like you've got plenty to do and flesh out.
The same character.
DLC was really funny with this one, that's why I've not finished it.
I remember you telling me and then watching that playing it, so it was like a sort of top-down
three DLC. The first one was just more of the same, so it was more puzzles, more story. The second one, brand new character taking place in Asian mythology. So again, almost like the DLC should have just been a sequel. That could have been the sequel, but that was that. The third one was a top-down puzzle, like kind of roguelike game, and I was like, what the hell is it? I'm here for more Immortal Phoenix Rising, not a totally different game. That the studio were clearly like, we've got an idea, can we do this? And the higher ups in Ubisoft just went, maybe try it out with the DLC, and if it lands well, we'll let you make more of it. But that's why I stopped at 88%, because I started playing this third DLC and I was like, well, this isn't even the game I was playing for 80 hours.
I thought that when I went and seen that playing it, and
great fun though.
It's weird. Love Infamous. I'd love to see something new.
Either new or a remake, because I tried to go back, you can see in 2017, to get the Infamous Platinum, but it's so hard going back to your PS3 after you've been living the PS4 life for so long, and the controller feeling so light and you feel like you can snap it, and it is an older game, so it's a bit harder to kind of get the collectibles and stuff. But
I did it recently through PS Now, and not only, I mean, although I was using a newer pad, it wasn't playing the best. And I mean, I don't know if it was just my internet or what, but it wasn't running the best either. And I didn't have the best experience, although I absolutely love the games.
Second Son, great. First Light, great. And again, it's one where you'd hope they're going to go back to it, but Sucker Punch are doubling down on Ghost of Tsushima now, so we're probably not going to see anything from them Infamous-wise for a while.
Looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, here we go.
Injustice Gods Among Us, 9 out of 10. Absolutely crazy. Explosion, love it. It Takes Two, you didn't get the platinum for?
No, well, I started with my wife, but my wife's not a gamer like yours, so she enjoys like Spyro and she loves the Uncharted games, and we're about to play through The Last of Us Remastered together because she's not played it before, but she doesn't like zombies or horror, so I'm like, whereas Uncharted's right up our street, not so much with this one. And when it came to It Takes Two, absolutely loved it, but busy lives, trying to get your wife to commit to a few hours to play something, it's not.
That's it.
It's hard to do, so it's sat there. Might go back to it, but who knows.
Jack and Jill DX done twice. Job Simulator, I love it. Journey. And then we've got the Jurassic World Evolution game. So you've done the first one.
Working my way through the second.
As
we speak.
July, so not too far ago. And then we get to Kino, which we mentioned a little bit in the questions, didn't we? Mm-hmm. So that's not bad. 2 weeks, 2 days for the platinum, and there you can see 7 out of 10 difficulty. It's
I'm pretty sure 2 weeks and 1 day was just that last that last trophy and master difficulty.
Some of the fights, some of the boss battles were quite tricky. They really were. It wasn't an easy game at all.
You'll notice in there as well, my game list, there's no like Bloodborne, Dark Souls. Like, I am not one for hard get good type games. I know you've embraced them in recent years, like Bloodborne and such. Not my cup of tea at all. I appreciate them from far. I watch a good couple Let's Plays of them all, and I love what they are. Demon Souls remake and stuff, gorgeous, but I don't have that patience. However, Kena, I thought, oh, it's a lovely Pixar movie type and inspired game. It's really fun, and playing through the first time, I was like, this is really good. It's quite easy, collectibles, fun little story. And then I got to that, play it on master difficulty or whatever it was, and I was like, this game has just cranked it up 20 notches.
Big difference,
and it changes the game completely. So that's probably one of my most proudest ones. I don't know if it is my most rare actually, but
you'll definitely. I mean, straight away there, look, it's 19.92%, which is a shame because of the exploiting, which has allowed so many people to get it.
The numbers
I think it would have been probably sub 10% or something, I would have thought. But straight away there, you've got one on Lego Dimensions, which is 11.49.
Shout out to Lego Dimensions.
Well, what we'll do when we get at the bottom, I'll check the rarest trophies and we'll see what it is. I'll go through them a little bit quicker. We'll maybe talk about the ones that are a platinum, but if there's anything you see, just feel free to. So a few Lego platinums. Do I dare even mention Lego Star Wars with Skywalker Saga?
I commented on your tweet about it, but I was smart enough to give up at 40 hours, I think it was. I think I was about 200 kyber crystals in out of like 1,100. I might have been a few more hundred, but basically I came to the realisation that it was going to take me forever to grind out these damn kyber crystals. And as a big Star Wars fan, it sucked so much to come to that realisation where I wanted to spend more time in that world, but not for that reason. I wanted the stories to be longer, the movie elements to be more played out. And big disappointment for me, the Lego Skywalker Saga.
120 hours it ended up taking me, and a lot of it was just silly little tasks that were just
menial.
It was silly. I wanted more content from, you just said the levels could have been fleshed out so much more and things like that, but they went with a trillion collectibles instead. Well, Lord of the Rings can't be that good. You didn't
wait, so I saw a point for me and anyone else who's played the Lego Lord of the Rings. Is it Traveller's Tales in the Lego games? I think they let me down big time on this one. So the Lego Hobbit, the 3 movies, Peter Jackson movies.
Yeah.
The 3rd movie was supposed to be DLC, so they put the game out before the last movie came out. It's supposed to be DLC. Cancelled it. Could you imagine a world in today's gaming world where they put out a game with the 3rd DLC promised and then just scrap it?
That's ridiculous.
Like, you've bought the game with the intention to get this 3rd movie. Obviously, it's a movie tie-in, so they had the 3rd movie always coming out. But I can't think of any game that would even, what developer would get away with that?
They wouldn't.
He's this big promised DLC, literally a 3rd expand. It should be a whole extra 3rd of the game. Sorry, can't do it. So every time they tweet out about a new Lego game, I tweet at them saying, still waiting on Battle of the 5 Armies, Hobbit DLC, that coming anytime soon. I did it when Lego Skywalker. I'm going to harass them until they finally.
I was just thinking they must have reminded you of how poor the films were, so you couldn't sit through the rest of it. Right, we'll move past Lord of the Rings. Life is Strange, couple of games finished. Love to see it. Mad Max not finished. A couple of trophies off.
That was one I tried, and I can't remember which one. You had to go back, or it was glitched, or I went to a certain camp to get something and it wasn't there. And I remember actually messaging you at the time saying, how did you do this? And I couldn't do it. And then I thought I'll leave that for now. I'll come back. And it was the races. It was like time trials or something. It was just it was asking way too much for what it was. And I think I either had to restart the whole campaign again, or there was some reason which made me go,
it's a real shame it's unobtainable now. It really annoys me. All for there's a little challenge where you need to get scrap from the developer or something like that. It's something I can't remember exactly, but really annoying. A few platinums from some of the Marvel games. I always love to see them on there. Love the Spider-Man stuff. Really enjoyed
2 Guardians titles. Seems weird to see that there's that Telltale Guardians game will be forgot about the time.
Yeah,
because it's weird how it's just there's 2
Guardians though. Soundtrack unreal. Absolutely love playing.
One of my favourite games of last year.
Yeah, always great. Mass Effect trilogy done.
Yeah, I think similar to you. You played Andromeda, but I'd never. Mass Effect is one that I always knew about. I have friends who rave about it, and for whatever reason, I just never played it. It's one of them that just avoided me somehow as a kid growing up. And then when they did the remaster trilogy, I committed to buying it. Loved the first one, and I was like, I'll get the platinum, and then I enjoyed it for the story. And the platinum trophies, all in all, weren't actually that difficult. I know they were tweaked a little bit for the remand. You didn't have to get as many kill types of a set and special power. But I loved it, and I cannot wait for the next thing. I know you played Andromeda, but I haven't got around to Andromeda just yet. But
I liked it. You know, I've said it loads. I seem to be in the minority with it, but I actually thought it was a lot of fun. I had no problems with it. Yeah, the facial expressions were a little bit off. You know, kind of when they were trying to give off a happy or a sad emotion, they were just very and it was a bit jarring kind of thing when someone was supposed to be like crying their eyes out and their face was just stuck.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was pretty fun. You know, I love space and exploration and all that kind of stuff.
I can delete Medieval.
I was going to say, you can get
that off
there. I love Metal Gear Solid 5. Micro Machines we talked about before recording, didn't we? And it's a 0.25%, but it's saying there's 3 unobtainables. I'm going to have a look into that to what they are. Some Lord of the Rings games that are finished.
Yeah.
I really like these games.
These games are phenomenal.
Yeah. I really like
this them. Is Monolith, so these are the guys who are making the new Wonder Woman game.
All right, okay.
So it doesn't look like we're getting a third entry in that yet, which is crazy. The Nemesis system, right? What made that game? Like, how does no other game have a Nemesis system in it yet, where you kill someone and they come back and have a particular vendetta against your character based on what you did? Absolutely genius. You kill someone by setting them on fire, they come back scarred and burned, and they hate you specifically for setting them on fire.
That's so
and
smart,
then if they kill you, they get leveled up, and it just creates this constant living world of like enemies coming in areas, and no one else has used it yet. Right. And I know Warner Brothers have like copyright trademark on the Nemesis system, but
haven't they patented it?
Yeah,
something like
weird.
That. And but it is a shame because that they've done that. Because it would be nice to see it in other things, wouldn't it? It would be, it would be very, very good.
Really hope that we were going to see a third one to kind of round out the 3. And now, like I said, it's the Tolkien rights are all over the place, but bodes well for a Wonder Woman game, though.
Yeah,
taking that kind of frenetic travel and climb, and again, it's the Batman Arkham inspiration, but applied to Wonder Woman with the Shadow of War team. What could go wrong?
No, I think it's going to be great, to be fair. It should be really good. Midnight Deluxe done twice, a couple of Minecraft games, some unfinished, some done. Nice to see.
Shout out to Minecraft Story Mode. Well, really good.
Look at 1 out of 10 difficulty. It's rarer than Kena Bridge of Spirit. What? That's what I mean. This is where the rarities don't always stack up, because you've got games like Elden Ring that like 40%, and it's just because I suppose the people who are playing those games generally will see it through to the end because they're determined to tick off that kind of difficult game. So we'll skip over again some of the unfinished stuff.
Mortal Kombat, that's for my brother.
Mortal Kombat, putting those in. Where's the third meal? Why aren't you completing
I'm saving that for when
you're feeling low.
When I'm feeling a bit down on myself and I've not got a platinum for a while. I'll crank out the old Mayo jar.
So there's Noobler. We talked about Noobler. Octodad, dadliest cat.
Yeah, no platinum.
World's best dad. Love it.
Octodad's such a good game.
Absolutely love it. Overcooked. Nice. What did you do that with?
I did that with Richie.
Oh, with Richie?
Yeah. No, my wife, we just fall out over that.
I was going to say,
no patience. No. My good friend Richie, we do the podcast with every week.
Yeah.
He's a huge gamer as well. Can I get him into the platinum hunting game a bit more? He's been doing it in the last few years. Not as crazy as you or me, but in terms of Overcooked, we just spent a night. We had some beers and just like couch co-op as well, back and forth, and just
You sound crazy though. Like it's not until I started the Discord where I'm actually quite tame, really.
Compared to these guys,
there's some absolute hardcore players in the Discord, and they're just difficult game after difficult game. Like I'm barely making my way through Lego, and then people are posting, "Oh, I've done Super Meat Boy. I've done."
Yeah, I've seen some of them.
Crypt of the Necro Dancer just while I was on my lunch break, you know,
just chipping away.
It's just crazy. So it is good to see what everyone's doing. What else we got? Ratchet and Clank. Absolutely love these games.
Yeah.
The Rift Apart was so beautiful.
Never played them until the remakes. So it was like the 2016 remake, and then Rift Apart was kind of just like, there's another franchise now I'm totally in love with, and I'll probably buy every game they ever put out now.
I'm like that as well, yeah. I dabbled a little bit with one of them when I was younger, but like you mentioned with Crash and Spyro, it was always them for me. I never really, I think Ratchet kind of, and the same with Jack and Daxter, them two just sort of went over my head a little bit.
I had one on the PSP, but it never, like I said, it never clicked with me, and then, the gorgeous remake, but Insomniac, man, just between those games, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then Wolverine, I was like, where do they get the time to churn these out?
Can't wait for all of those. A few more unfinished stuff. Rocket League done. How scary is this? Look, Rocket League's got the platinum, 42%. It just seems weird to look at.
It's all the DLC, isn't it?
Yeah, it's...
Again, I know you're a believer of this, but when DLC comes out, it should have its own separate banner that doesn't impact the overall.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree. It should be a, you know how you've got like Rocket League, there should be a completely new entry that just says Rocket League DLC or whatever we want to call it, and it doesn't appear on here until you've popped a trophy from it. Because I've got so many games, like Final Fantasy 15 is one where I've got the platinum, it's got that many trophies and a lot of golds as well, which just completely dilute the main percentage. It's quite annoying.
Well, there's a limit for how many trophies developers can implement in the games, so they hit a ceiling eventually where PlayStation won't allow them to put any more titles in. So that's why you'll see sometimes our DLC is kind of staggered the way it is, because they can. If the main game is like quite bulky, the DLC you'll often see it's only like 3 or 4 platinums, and that's because PlayStation's rules around trophies are you're only allowed so many, which is why you usually find it varies from kind of title to title a little bit.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider done, very very nice, but look at that because that's got so much DLC, 47%.
Yeah, Tomb Raider ones. I know you've just recently got the Tomb Raider OG 2013 reboot one.
Yeah, so annoying.
Love the games, would totally be down for it. Multiplayer trophies, am I right?
Yeah.
Like, reach rank 50 in a game that's barely got any online presence whatsoever.
Well, yeah, rank 60 is what's needed on the first one.
60?
60, yeah, it's just a random number. Once I'd got the other trophies out the way, which a few people from the Discord were kind enough to help me with, I think I was on like level 19 or 21 or something. Yeah. And there's a game mode where you can actually play it on your own in a private match.
Right.
What you're meant to do is pick up supplies and bring them back to your base. Ordinarily, you'd have other people shooting you. You're both fighting for the supplies. Because no one's there, you can just run, pick them up, go back, and then once you've done that, it spawns in a few fixed locations. I did that for like 30 hours, just on my own, to get to level 60, running backwards and forwards. Nat's doing it at the moment, she's on like level 45, still got probably 10 hours to go.
You know,
just, I mean, there's no need.
When we get to it, I'd be curious, because that's something I could like just listen to a podcast and just go back and forth.
Yeah.
Because I left Tomb Raider probably because of that rank system. I did Shadow because it was a great game, and then all the DLC, and I think I give up on Rise because they had that ridiculous like. Yeah, it's like little wisps or something. As you to get the scores, you went around like a set mission, and it was like I don't have the skill to do this or the patience to do this.
Yeah. Slide 26 seconds. I always thought this would be the quickest platinum ever, and I've just beaten it. I don't even say shame. It's back, shame. Something called the sheep quiz, right?
The names are never even good, are they? It's like they put as much effort into the names as they do the game.
The sheep quiz, unbelievable, 9 seconds. Basically, you can kind of fudge up through all the questions and all the trophies. The trophies pop that quick, right?
It can't keep up.
It can't show you them, so you get kind of the first trophy and then it pops the platinum straight after. Crazy. Spyro Trilogy.
Yeah,
love it.
Great game. Had my wife's help with that one. Again, I wish the Crash games were that easy. Just like work your way through them. Nice, fun games.
Do a few gems, do a few daft stuff.
I hope we see a sequel. Like we got Crash 4, we got Crash Team Racing, but it's like
completely fresh.
They're sitting on Spyro. Like I know Microsoft own them now, which is crazy to say out loud. But I don't think Microsoft will rest. I think Toys for Bob, who did these ones and the Crash Team Racing one.
Yeah.
I think they've got the right kind of energy now. Now they did. It was Vicarious who did Crash 4. I think now they're owned by Microsoft and Activision don't want to just funnel them all into COD support. They might actually get their opportunity to do. They're actually teasing something this week.
Oh, okay.
So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Battlefront 2 done.
Yes. Great game. Just
very nice.
Ruined by microtransactions in the early days that kind of put everyone off it.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer with the Battlefront games that they should do another one. They should just call it Star Wars Battlefront Galaxies or something like that. Generic. Don't put a number on it. And it should just be a perpetual game, like Fortnite is, like Warzone is, and it's got the IP and it's so gorgeous, and the game modes are so fun. and the hero battle modes are so fun as well. And because Star Wars is, let's face it, it's never gone away. It's not gone anywhere since 1977. It ain't going away anytime soon.
No,
now Disney own it.
Be there forever.
So just rather than try and put out these iterations, just make a platform. And when there's a new show out, next Mandalorian season, give me a season pass for the Mandalorian. Give me a Ahsoka season pass that ties in with the Disney Plus show, like Avengers is trying to do with She-Hulk and Thor, Mighty Thor, but Avengers, right?
Yeah. It's never been the same, has it? Since I seen a meme and it kind of does ring true a little bit. I'm probably going to butcher it, but they're basically saying that the MCU is kind of like Endgame is like a video game where you've finished the story and now you're just mopping up side quests, afterwards, and you're just like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed that Eternals DLC that came out.
Yeah, it does make sense. So Jedi Fallen Order.
Dirty Platinum.
And then a cheeky auto pop. Why didn't you play it again? It's so good.
I am playing it again on Google Stadia. I do
Okay.
every May the 4th. You can go check it out on the channel. There is me and Richie, and we play through Jedi Fallen Order in honour of Star Wars Day.
Nice. I like it. Great
So
idea.
I kind of give myself a little pass on that Dirty Platinum on that one. Although I did feel bad.
I'll let you off. Force Unleashed. I love these games. It's with Sam Witwer, isn't it?
Yeah.
And,
from Days Gone.
Yeah. Just every time I see his face, I can just see him screaming Kenobi, from the Clone Wars
series. Yeah. He's such a Star Wars fan as well. And
Yeah,
you know
it's
what?
great.
If they wanted to remake The Force Unleashed into some kind, like combine all the stories or do whatever, because they're not canon technically as of now, but they are. And my Force Unleashed trophy there with 1%, I tested out PSN.
I thought you were
no, not my brother. No, that was me.
Just late under the bus.
PSN. When the PlayStation Now, when they were giving the free trials out years ago.
Yeah.
I finally thought I'll trial it out. Thought I'll boot up Force Unleashed because I haven't played it in ages. Similar to you, where the internet wasn't great, it was a bit choppy, and I think I played like the opening chapter and then backed out. It was like 1% ping. It was like, oh, the trophy. But
Stray done twice.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what you did with Richie? And tell the
of course.
Because that was actually really good, and I do think you should go and watch that video.
Yeah, so over on youtube.com/Helix Cloud Games, we've just branched out recently into PlayStation with the Talking the PS podcast, and we're trying to do a bit more cloud gaming content centered around PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus Cloud Gaming. Well, they don't have a name for it, which is so crazy as a marketing brand.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it just PlayStation Cloud or nobody knows? But either way, we did.
Call it whatever you want.
We did Stray, and for the speedrun trophy. So I'm sure many of you have got it now. Maybe you're attempting it. You've got to finish the whole campaign in 2 hours. So we thought we'd do something different. We did a speedrun, but we actually squared off against each other. So myself and my fellow co-host Richie, we split the screen. Both of us on there. Both started at the exact same time, and we just had to work through it and see who finished it faster. Little caveat: he was playing it running on his console. I was playing it in the cloud, and he beat me. However,
spoiler alert.
Spoiler. I mean, I was kicked out of the game twice during the playthrough.
I didn't know that.
So he was grateful enough to pause it while I booted it back up, but it ruined the flow a little bit of what I was trying to do. And
I remember because I can't remember if I just finished work or something, and then I went on, and I seen that you were streaming it, so I joined in and I said, "Go on, Richie," and then I just remember you going, "Screw you, Jeff."
Talk about picking a side.
Oh, it's so funny.
But yeah, Stray, phenomenal game. I think it's definitely one of my. If it wasn't for Horizon, it would probably be in my game of the year. Like,
really?
Yeah, I loved it.
Love it that much?
It's just different, just so refreshing, and like, you know what? Running around as a cat, there was something very like calming and like zen about it. And I loved it. I can't wait to see them do another one.
Yeah,
Why aren't there more games where we play as animals?
Yeah, I loved it. I'll be honest, I mean, if it wasn't a cat, I don't know how, because I love cats, as you know. I don't know how much I would have still enjoyed it, but I think I loved it because it was a cat. But a few more easy ones: Super Destiny, Super Willow.
They're all around 2019. You notice the ones in August. That's when I was on my honeymoon, so that's when I stacked the Vita up for a 2-week vacation.
Yeah. And
when you're like chilling in the hotel while you're kind of getting ready to go back out for the day, it's why not jump in and get a 20-minute platinum trophy?
Why not? That's what I'd be doing if I had the Vita. Tales from the Borderlands, which you said was your favourite one. I'd love to see that on there. Absolutely brilliant. we talked about these before, didn't we? Before we started recording the Amazing Spider-Man, I was actually referring to the second one. When I said about leveling the suits up, I got them mixed up. So you have done that one, but yeah, so they're missing from the first one. Few unfinished ones, we won't touch on them too much. You said it's when you've got like packs, people around and stuff.
Trying to get 8 people to commit to getting a platinum is quite a task.
Yeah.
Mum, Dad, I need you to sit there, and when this does this, we all need to hit the same answer to get the same trophy to pop. It ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, is it? The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely unbelievable. Cannot wait for the part 1 remaster remake to come out on my birthday as well. Of all days, it comes out on my birthday, so
meant to be.
I'm going to play through that.
What's your honest thoughts of the second one then? How do you feel about it?
I, like most people, was disappointed with what happened in the second one, but I understand why it happened, and I still think, as much as you might like or not like the story, you cannot take away from what it's trying to do. And I think graphically, it's visually one of the most beautiful games ever. Naughty Dog tells such a good story. Like, you might hate some characters, but you wouldn't hate them if they weren't written so well. Like, they are written to be hated characters to some degree. And yeah, the environments, the gameplay, like the stealth, just everything about like what Naughty Dog do. They're an absolute masters at their craft.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll see a third one some point soon. But with Naughty Dog, I'm just excited to see what they do next, because I don't think they're going to do another Uncharted. So that means new IP, and we've not seen new IP since The Last of Us. So, and we still have the
that multiplayer
stuff, yeah, whatever that's going to look like, because the multiplayer was so good as well in The Last of Us.
Some more Lord of the Rings stuff, which we won't touch on too much.
Aragorn's Quest was a move controller game.
Oh, was it really?
So yeah, it was a kids game essentially.
The Order, 2 days, 11 hours. Very nice. Very nice.
I remember doing that because I did it similar time to Infamous Second Son. I sprained my ankle and I had like 2 weeks off work, and then these 2 great games came out, and I was like, I'm just gonna do them, power through.
So I tell you what, I mean, I haven't looked at the rarities for everything as we've been going down, but that could well be. So they're the Playroom VR, 6.18%, which is pretty good.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll have to check at the end on your like if you've got anything.
Again, another kind of just a tech demo for what VR could do. And like I think I got so far through like testing all the different ways to use VR, and I was like, oh, there's a very obtainable platinum. It's around the corner.
A lot of them ones, like some of the VR stuff. Yeah, they generally are quite rare.
There's only so much you can do with VR, so...
Some Walking Dead stuff.
Yep.
The Witcher left, that disappoints me.
I'm waiting for the PS5 version of The Witcher.
Everyone seems to be saying that. Play this one, you have it right now. You could go home right now and play one of the greatest games.
The best version of it's due out imminently, isn't it?
Yeah, but then you're going to be stuck with a 4% on your list.
Yeah, but I don't mind as much.
That's all good. So some Tom Clancy stuff. Got the platinum for the first division, of the division. Yeah, pretty good.
It's Tomb Raider coming back. So you can see, played it on PS3, and then
it's the date as well. I do love seeing an older list. In a way, I do kind of regret.
You restarted, didn't you?
When the PS4 came out, yeah, my list was a little bit messy. And I wanted to just go fresh from that point, because I didn't have that many trophies on it, so I wasn't giving up a lot. I think I had 7 platinums, a few COD ones, a few Final Fantasy stuff, nothing major. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just too stubborn to change my name profile.
Yeah, it's great when you see these, because some of the ones that I've reviewed and it says like 2008 and or whatever, 2009, it's great. Oh, okay, here we go. Uncharted. That soundtrack's so good.
It is.
I love that tune as soon as it gets to the main menu, and it just, it
starts up,
So good. What was your thoughts on the movie?
I enjoyed the movie.
You like it?
I kind of I'm a big fan of Tom Holland. Mark Wahlberg, give or take. But in terms of like, I went in with very low expectations. Went with the wife. Who's a big Uncharted fan, as I mentioned, and we just kind of went in like going like it's gonna be just a daft movie. And I think because I went in with low expectations, I enjoyed it more than I thought, and it was actually a good, fun action adventure movie with good couple of jokes, couple of lightheartedness, and again, Tom Holland's just watchable, isn't he? He's just likable as a character. He is
brilliant. Yeah, cast him as anything. I think you'll enjoy
not
watching.
Quite the Nathan Drake as he could be, but I hope, and they're planning to. I know he made a lot of money, so. Hopefully he'll grow more into that role and he'll make it his own. But nice little cameo in there from Nolan North.
Oh, I didn't know anything about it.
I didn't
stay away
I had a feeling he would be. I saw him on Twitter when he was on set to meet Tom Holland. I was like, why would they fly him out there during the pandemic? and not utilise them in some way.
Yeah.
What I would say about the movie though is why did they not embrace the soundtrack more? There's a few things that put in like beaty pop music or like R&B, and it was like, you've got one of the best video game soundtracks literally there for you to use, and they only had like little tingles of it, and it was like, no, what makes Indiana Jones so good is any time he does anything epic, they play it.
Yeah.
Overplay it to some points, but excited, and shout out to Golden Abyss, really fun platinum on the Vita, and I'd say Golden Abyss is better than Uncharted 1. So if you've not yet, in terms of story and such, if you've not played it,
bold.
Made by the guys who did Days Gone, Sony Bend. So they did Golden Abyss, then did Days Gone.
I did not know
and it
that.
took them 7 years to make Days Gone. That's how there's such a big gap. So
Brilliant.
if you enjoyed Days Gone, you enjoy Uncharted, there's kind of a melding of two. And because it was newer than the first Uncharted game, I think it kind of, they learned a lot from what Naughty Dog with Uncharted 1 and 2. So definitely recommend it. If you're picking up a Vita, plenty of fun.
I definitely do need one. I've just had a lot of bad luck, with second-hand tech. So if I'm going to buy one online, I know there'll be some good ones out there, but I've been burnt a lot in the past when I've picked stuff up, and I just don't want that to happen again. But hopefully I can find one, because I would enjoy it. I know we kind of skipped past unpacking, but it's a nice, easy one. 84.
Loved unpacking.
84.25%, and we'll go past these unfinished ones and go into Watch Dogs, which you've done. All three?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer out of them?
I think Watch Dogs 2 was my favourite.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think the world was most living. I liked the protagonist in it.
Marcus was
Marcus,
pretty good,
yeah. And again, shame they just don't stick with the protagonist, Ubisoft. Like,
Keep
Legion
changing.
could have just been, he travelled to London and the same story unrolled, but you were with someone you already knew, some characters you already had an attachment to, rather than go, the worst thing with Legion was like, make who you want to make and play as them, and the problem with that is you don't care about whatever happened. Oh no, they've been captured. Alright, let's go play this as Granny instead.
The best... But I've said it loads in the videos, but that's the bit that upset me. I don't mind that you can be anyone, but whatever kind of algorithm formula was in place to put a person's appearance with a voice, it was just all wrong. So like you see, you'd get a little Nana, and she'd have like a Jamaican accent or something, and it didn't really make sense. The best part of it was the DLC, because you were Aiden Pierce and you were Wrench from the second one, and it was actually much better than the main game. And I think I enjoyed it more because I'd just been to London. So I'd just been in the Shard, I'd just been to all these places, and then playing it and seeing it all, it was just like really good.
I was going in the August, so when I finished this game, it was like leading up to. So it's the similar vibes, but I think it's safe to say Watch Dogs as a franchise is probably going to be dormant for a while now.
Yeah,
I think
I would say so.
And Ubisoft put it out to slaughter. They put Watch Dogs out at the same time, within a month of Immortals and Assassin's Creed. It was like that winter where they just went, there's 3 of our games, all done at the same time, have fun. It was like, God, talk about cannibalising your own sales.
Blimey. And a few, last platinum talk about Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is 6 out of 10. It's a reasonable, good one to get. I do need the new Colossus at some point. Try the Mein Leben trophy, which is like doing the whole game, hardest difficulty without dying and all that stuff.
I have it. It's one of those games where I bought it with the intention to play it like immediately, and then you put it on the shelf, and I think it might even still be in its like wrapper, like its plastic wrapper. Just you pick it like a game. All gamers know you see a sale, you tease by it, and then you buy it, and you go, I'll bank that for later, and then it just adds to the back catalogue of games that you're just never going to get round to. So that's one of mine.
What we'll have a look at real quick, so there's only 13 of them. We'll have a look at the ultra rares, which is anything under 5%.
Okay.
It's something that a lot of people in the Discord like to look at. I did a review a couple of weeks ago, and the guys got over 800 ultra rares, like just absolute crazy. As of yesterday, so I've got a couple. I'm on 173, which is all right considering I don't look at them. I don't focus on them. But some people have just got crazy amounts. Oh, there you go. The Last of Us 4.09.
It's what my most rare.
Well, platinum it is. Your rarest one is whatever this is at the top.
Escape Plan was like one of the free PS Plus games.
Yeah.
And evidently not many people played it to that degree.
So Last of Us is your rarest platinum, and then Battlefront 2 got 13 trophies under 5%, which is still pretty good. I like it because it's an old profile. I'm going to have a little look at the milestones. We'll just go all the way. I'll move it up a bit because obviously we'll be in the corner. First trophy 12 years ago from Mod Nation Races.
Great, Mod Nation Races.
Remember that?
Yeah, it's from the Little Big Planet guys. Yeah. It should have been more support than it was. It could have still been like a games as a service Mario Kart thing. But
this is a milestone I've always been curious about. I don't know why it's there. Maybe you guys can tell me. I've even Googled it to try and find out why this number is significant. 1,337th trophy. But everyone gets the same milestone as if I don't know why, because generally it's, if you look,
it's like rounded up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just such a random thing. But yeah, I'm just looking at a few that kind of catch my eye.
It's got to be like a little PlayStation.
There must be something whoever's created this. It must mean something to them in some way. I honestly don't know. It's
1st of March 1937, something like that.
It's crazy. 50th platinum Minecraft. Pretty good. 75th accounting plus. There it is again. Fastest platinum. Oh, because you've done an auto pop. I went past that, didn't I?
Yeah.
It's normally slide for people, but you know, when you have sweats that do auto pops, like I can overdo.
What's worse, someone who does an auto pop or someone who does a 99p?
It's got to be an auto pop,
Do you
hasn't
think?
It has to be.
But see, the thing with auto pops is you have to have got the platinum originally, so you put the grind in once at least.
Fair.
Whereas you haven't just spent 99p and went, ooh, platinum bitches. Nothing like that.
100th platinum Astro's Playroom. That's a good one for 100th. Yeah. I know a lot of people like.
No, I remember leading up to the 100th one, thinking like, oh, what a better way than an ode to PlayStation's history.
Yeah.
Than that. So yeah, it was a very happy coincidence, that one.
Yeah, but I've enjoyed going through it with you.
Yeah, it's great. Again, I get to talk about games with Richie and that on the rest of the channel, and we talk about like cloud games and stuff, but we've not shied away from, even though we were launching like a Google Stadia podcast and we do cloud gaming for other platforms, we've never shied away from the fact that we are both Sony PlayStation fans, like through and through. Like that is our go-to like box. That's where our history and our passion always lie. Like I've had, like, if you watch our shows, I've got my OG PS1 is behind me on the wall. It's like on the shelf, and I have my old PS2 Slim. PS3 is upstairs in the bedroom. I've got my PS4. It's our like kind of Blu-ray player in the living room. And my PS5, I've got my Vita and PSP on display, and my like kind of game shelf that you've seen. And actually sitting down and talking about it, it's fantastic, and I can see why your channel and your community is doing so well, because it's like when you get those nerdy gamers out there who just love to talk about stuff. I don't know how long we've been going for today, but you can talk forever.
I daren't even check, you know. I feel it's probably gone, must be over an hour.
And this is what we do when we go out for a drink, don't we? We just talk about what you've been playing, what you've been watching, Marvel, Star Wars, everything, catch up. And it's been great. I've enjoyed it. It's nice to look back in retrospect and think like...
Yeah, so I'd like to look at it again in the future and see that unearned trophies isn't 6,500. See if we can bring that down a little bit. But no, it's been great to go through. What I'll do is, as we mentioned in the description, I'll leave the usual links to like the Discord, my social media, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'll put the PSN profiles link for mine if you want to have a look, for Chris's, and we'll also include his YouTube channel link in there as well. I'd really appreciate it if you go and check out what he's doing over there. But yeah, it's been cracking. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Whatever you're doing, look after yourself, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.